You know those places and stories that feel like more than just a spot on the map? Like they carry a hidden weight, a silent authority that shapes everything around them? Well, in Tolkien's Legendarium, Taniquetil is exactly that kind of place. But maybe it's even more than what most readers realize. We all know Taniquetil as the tallest mountain in Arda, crowned by Ilmarinen, the divine halls of Manwë and Varda. It's nestled high in the Pelori ranges of Amma, a shining snow-white peak, described as visible across the flat world before the changing of the world. But what if Taniquetil is not simply the physical summit of the world? What if it actually serves as a kind of metaphysical crossroads, a bridge between the created world, Ei, and something far beyond, the timeless halls where Ilúvatar and the pure Ainur dwell outside of time and space? This might sound surprising at first, but let's unpack why this theory holds water, or perhaps more aptly, why it stands tall like Taniquetil itself. First, there's the way Tolkien paints Manwë, the Elder King, who makes his home atop this mountain in the halls of Ilmarinen. We're told that from this peak he looked out across the world. But this isn't merely a breathtaking view from a high vantage point. Consider the passage from The Silmarillion, where Manwë is described as seated upon the borders of the world, able to hear the music of the Ainur more clearly than anyone else. To me, this suggests that Taniquetil is more than geography. It's a threshold where the finite world brushes against the infinite. It's as if the mountain itself is a kind of axis mundi, a world axis, that physically and spiritually anchors Arda to the realm of the uncreated. In many mythologies, holy mountains have this role. Mount Sinai for Moses, or Mount Olympus in Greek tradition. Here, Tolkien's Taniquetil might be his version of that archetype, where the veil between the everyday and the eternal is gossamer thin. Let's talk names for a moment, because Tolkien rarely chose them lightly. Taniquetil is also called Oyolosa, meaning ever snow white, and Elarina, crowned with stars in Quenya. These names evoke not just physical traits, but cosmic and eternal qualities. The whiteness reflects purity. The stars symbolize the heavens themselves. It's a mountain literally crowned with the celestial, suggesting an intersection of the terrestrial and the divine. One of the compelling pieces of evidence is the timing and reason for Taniquetil's rise. According to the lore, after Melkor destroyed the two lamps, one of the earliest sources of light in the world, the Valar withdrew to Aman and raised the Pelori Mountains, including Taniquetil. This isn't just a random geological event. This act marks a shift in divine guardianship over the world. By physically raising this peak, the Valar may have been establishing a new center of spiritual authority, a control tower of sorts from which the cosmos can be overseen and managed. In symbolism, creating the tallest, purest mountain could represent anchoring the heavens to the world again, a last bastion of divine presence after a world already scarred by Melkor's rebellion. Okay, but here's a question that probably just popped into your mind. If Taniquetil is such a spiritual gateway, why is it said that only the Vanyar, the elves closest in spirit to the Valar, dwell nearby? Why wouldn't other inhabitants or even other powerful beings make use of this conduit? Well, it may come down to the idea that access here isn't just about physical proximity. This window into the timeless halls seems to require a certain spiritual tuning, a purity and resonance that only the most devoted and attuned beings possess. Think of Manwë not just as a king on a physical throne, but as the one whose spirit uniquely harmonizes with Ilúvatar's deeper will. He channels the cosmic music from this peak in a way that no one else can. In other words, Taniquetil isn't an open door to all. It's a sacred space that separates those who can perceive the greater music from those who cannot. Some might argue this is a stretch. After all, Tolkien never explicitly states that Taniquetil is a metaphysical bridge. True, Tolkien often leaves his metaphysical structures implied rather than spelled out. Yet, when you put these puzzle pieces side by side, the location, Manwë's unique role, the symbolic names, and the mountain's origin story, you begin to see a pattern not of coincidence but of intention. It's also important to note that while Ilúvatar exists wholly outside of Ei, the theorized border at Taniquetil does not break that separation. Instead, it stands at the edge, a liminal space where the created world and the uncreated come closest without mixing. like the thin veil between dreaming and waking, or between life and legend. So why does this matter beyond academic curiosity? Well, seeing Taniquetil as a spiritual axis enhances how we understand Manwë's role, not simply as a ruler on a mountain, but as the vital link between creation and its ultimate source. It also deepens our appreciation of Aman itself, not just a paradise or safe haven, but a place infused with divine presence, with thresholds that most cannot cross. It also ties beautifully into the theme of loss and separation embedded throughout Tolkien's work. Just as the physical world is corrupted and broken, so too is this connection frayed, but never entirely lost. Taniquetil remains the last beacon, highest summit, the point of contact with the music before the world's silencing. Before we wrap up, I want to toss this back to you. Could Taniquetil's role as a metaphysical conduit change how you read the interactions between Valar, Maiar, and the world below? If Manwë's power comes from his position on this sacred mountain, how might that inform his decisions during the struggles in Middle-earth? And what about the elves, especially the Vanir? Their close proximity to Taniquetil makes me wonder if their heightened spirituality is partly shaped by this divine presence. A constant exposure to that thin place might steer their culture and lore in ways we haven't fully recognized. In short, Taniquetil is so much more than just a mountain. It's an axis where Earth meets the divine, a living symbol of the link between the created and the uncreated, the immanent and the transcendent. Next time you think about Tolkien's world, let your mind climb that snowy peak and imagine the panoramic, eternal sight from Ilmarin, where Manwë not only watches over Arda but listens to the cosmic music that shapes all reality. Do you find this interpretation compelling, or does it feel like reading too much into a geographic feature? I'm sure this theory sparks new ideas or challenges old assumptions, so I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. What other thin places in Middle-earth might connect the mortal and immortal realms? Let's explore this fascinating terrain together. Thanks for joining me on this ascent. Until next time, may your stories be rich and your mountains ever majestic.